join. Today we have a very exciting guest. We have Dennis from Aeron Chain. So we'll be speaking with them, what they are building, how they are building it, and few other things. Before we get started with the spaces, I would like to share more about Swift and what we do here at Swift. So Swift is a AI-driven uh, cutting edge global cross chain swap platform. Uh, it's established in 2017. Swift has been at the forefront of innovation, seamlessly integrating blockchain, machine learning, and big data to enable direct swaps over 800 cryptocurrency across 50 plus public chains. So, uh, we have been around for over 6 years now. We have one of the largest cryptocurrency collection. We have the largest swap collection with more than 40,000 swap pairs and 50 plus blockchains supported. We have a coin called SWFTC. If you hold that coin, you get 50% off on your swap fees. Our swaps are faster, completed in less than a minute, and we provide 24/7 real time customer support service as well. Now we will uh, so that's about Swift. Now we will get our guest on the stage. Dennis, I have accepted your request to be speaker. Please unmute when you are available. Hey, Dennis, how are you doing?
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you very well. Dennis, how are you? How is the weather on your side?
Thank you so much. Everything is great. We're busy as usual, working on our project. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. We are really, happy to have you as a partner. We really love what you are building. Now, before we dive into the project and the EMA of the project, I would love to hear more about you. How did you, what's your background? How did you, uh, arrive in
hmm
Web3 and what's your story with Aeron Network?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm Dennis. I'm the head of marketing at Aeron Network. I have been a marketing professional for a while. I've been working with several financial technologies companies for a long time, for which crypto assets has been playing a crucial role for years. And during my time with these companies, I have realized that more and more people are actually moving towards the realm of Web3, the realm of crypto. So since crypto was always a priority that is growing in terms of financial markets, I believe that crypto will become more and more accepted in the common use. Public will start using it more and more, even if they are not familiar with today's technologies, even if they are not familiar with blockchain at all. So naturally, I believe the future lies with tokenization and blockchain technology in general. I believe in a decentralized future myself. So that's why I actually turned my sights towards this subfield of my industry, because I have been specializing in financial services already. Um, so long story short, have I was already familiar with the founders of Aeron Network. Have been I've been knowing them for a long time. So this is the story of how my path converged with Aeron Network.
Yeah, that's awesome. We are glad to hear that we have someone from traditional finance building future of decentralized finance. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Now, let's get into the project. We would love to, hear what Aeron Network is. But before we do that, what's the vision behind Aeron Network? What's the core principle what's the story that
Mhm.
drives, you to build something like Aeron Network?
Yeah. So, like everyone else, I mean, the founders have been watching the markets for a very long time. They have been actively using technologies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some of our developers that some people that are currently in our team, they have been working for some of these other blockchain projects out there, the ones that are major and widely used right now. And our founders were watching the markets, like genuinely reviewing what's going on with the market, in a professional capacity, and they realized that there is actually enough room for someone with a visionary and novel perspective to come and provide some things for crypto users that current projects are not. Basically, we were thinking, how can we make blockchain much more easier and much more convenient for end users, for people like you and me, for someone who is using crypto on a daily basis for payments, for their financial investments, for anything that they might have been doing on a daily basis, right? So the idea, the story behind it is actually pretty simple. We saw what was happening in the market, and we realized that there are some critical pain points that we might be able to fix. One of this is, everyone is familiar with this terminology, this blockchain trilemma, meaning there is the ultimate, giveaway, takeaway between the speed, the scalability, and also I'm more than happy to add price to it, because this is something we're also trying to fix in the market. So essentially, if in terms of like endurance, like speed and the strength of your chain, we realized that this is not in an optimized level in the market at the moment. Among the chains that people use, there are some who may be faster than the others, but they are not necessarily scalable, or sometimes they are not necessarily secure, because they might end up stopping. I'm not going to give names, but everyone knows which chain I'm talking about. And some chains might be scalable and they might be secure enough, but most of the time we see that these chains are quite expensive in terms of transactions, in terms of gas fees, in terms of sending and receiving money. So this is ultimately a huge payoff between these basic functions. So long story short, the idea behind Aeron network is to minimize these areas of friction. We are trying to make this chain as user-friendly as possible. We want it to be fast, secure, and with low transaction fees. That's what we are working for.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, working on blockchain trilemma and solving that problem is awesome, and as well as making sure that users have good user experience. Really applaud that effort that you are doing with Arian Chain. Uh,
Thank you.
Now, a lot of this work goes into the background. Like, let's say if I'm building an application on uh, on one of the blockchains, and there is an end user, they might not see all this stuff, and they might not see all these things. So one thing that I want to ask you is, for Aeron chain, what is the uh, unique selling proposition to the developers,
Mhm.
as well as to the end user?
Yeah, I hear you. So, as I said, I mean, when we started doing this, we wanted to compete with the major chains. Obviously, I mean, if you're not going to do something great, what is the point of doing it in the first place, right? So you have to set your sights to the very top of the food chain here. So what we try to do to make ourselves different and to make ourselves, one step ahead of chains of our size is actually quite simple. We're trying to look at things from the perspective of end users. If someone who is willing to use a chain on a regular basis, the first thing they do is always the transactions, right? So we want to make this as simple as possible for crypto users. Buying and selling area, or sending or receiving payments using our coin area, should be absolutely a breeze. It should be instant, it should be safe, it should be so cheap that there should be no issues from the user side. So this is something that I believe sets us apart in largely in the major way. However, I can also tell you that even though we are an EVM compatible chain, which is an industry standard, right? We also wanted to make something unique of us, and that would be our consensus mechanism. We came up with the proof of area concept. It's a novel concept. It's tricky, clever twist on proof of stake. In fact, more closer to delegated proof of stake, actually, to be precise. Essentially, if you have a certain amount of our coins in your pocket, in your wallet, this entitles you to a small piece of land on our metaverse. That means you can use that land for any purpose you want. You can sell it after you claim it, initially, of course. You can rent it. You can build an app on it because that digital space belongs to you, or you can advertise on it. This was a simple but effective way of combating selling pressure from our end. And this also gives a unique if you're not interested in staking, even if you are not interested in investing a lot of coins into a random token project or whatnot, we want you to have a safe and profitable option to still hold area, because for us it's important for you to keep holding area, which is something you can use for various purposes, right? And it's just cherry on the top, because once you have that land, you can do tons of things with it. It's only your imagination limiting you at that point. Plus, you will still be receiving a nice steady income, even if you're not staking, tying down your assets to a investment option. It's still yours. The area is yours, the coin is yours, but you now also have an extra source of income in the form of a land in the metaverse. So I believe this is a unique and novel approach that puts us apart from the competition.
Thank you so much for that answer. I really like the fact that you don't have to stake tokens, right? If you just
Yeah.
hold tokens in the wallet, you get rewards, and that's there is an I think sorry, Cardano, I think, has a similar staking mechanism, but then they don't have all the metaverse and land stuff and things like that. So I really like your USP and what you guys are building. Now, you spoke about scalability, right? Being Aeron chain being scalable, there are lots of chains that claim that they are scalable, but as you previously mentioned, like they might stop or there are lots of issues. How do you
Mhm.
guys are figuring out the scalability, and how can you like say for sure that you are a scalable
Yeah.
chain?
So back in September last year, we started our testnet, and during this testnet, we made some in-house testing ourselves, and we have seen that the chain is capable of going up to 600,000 transactions per second. That's a crazy output, actually. And we have also seen less than 100 milliseconds of transaction speed. Again, this was a controlled environment and a test environment, I repeat. So potentially, these are the numbers. And then when we launched our main network in January, this January, uh, I'm proud to say that we never had any major issues that might even hint towards a possible stopping down or slowing down issue, right? And as I said, during the testnet, we actually put a lot of stress on the chain. We tried lots of things with in-house sources and also using some uh, out-of-the-house sources like external um, companies, external apologies, groups and entities that, like we invited all of them to do some testing with the chain, and we're proud to say that we didn't see any issues at all. Now, obviously, in the real world, things might be different, but from our perspective, I implore you to consider this. We are an EVM compatible chain. We are running on Tendermint. All of these are industry standard things that are working almost edge of the technology, cutting edge technology. And on top of all this, we have this unique approach of, as I said, this area proof of area concept, which is helping us with lots of combating the selling pressure, as well as having enough investments for validators and delegators in-house. These are all quite important because in the long run, in the real world scenario, outside of the test cube, what you're looking at is like how many nodes are running for your chain and how reliable are your validators. So stuff like that is spotless until now for Aeron network. We haven't seen any problems at all. On top of this, we have this unique approach to running most of the transactions on a daily basis on a different layer. By this, I mean, as I said before, we are delegated proof of stake. We're very close to it, I can say. So that's why the chain has several mechanisms to keep the essentials, the core transactions running without any interference from the outside external loads. In other words, in simple words, whatever the type of pressure can come, the chain is scalable enough to delegate this incoming traffic to several other nodes and running things smoothly on different layers, which ensures that in the long run, there is absolutely no chance for stopping down or slowing down for Aeron chain.
Thank you so much for that answer. Now, I want to keep this answer brief and short because I want you to answer this in a very brief and short way because we have already talked a bit about proof of media consensus. You have mentioned that it's like a delegated staking, but could you explain a bit more about proof of area consensus? And I want you to explain by comparing it to, let's say, proof of work or proof of stake.
So yeah, as I said, it's very much similar to proof of stake in many ways. The only difference is being, as I said, the additional benefit of having an area, having a lot of digital land inside metaverse, and that land providing you some additional benefits, such as being able to rent it, being able to sell it for profit, building something on top of it. But compared to proof of work, it's much more efficient, obviously, just like how proof of stake is arguably more advantageous and more advanced than proof of work, right? Because proof of stake is something more revolutionary, I would say, in fact. So ours is closer to proof of stake, I can tell you, and maybe just with a clever twist on top of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, let's talk about transactions and the speed. So, 600,000 transactions per second on testnet is a really big number. And I think when we talk about transactions, we always compare, transactions on blockchain to someone like Visa, who I think is doing 240,000 transactions every minute.
Mhm.
Now, you being 600,000 transactions per second, that would easily crush that. So, like, whole world could potentially use your chain and
Correct.
be completely fine with it. It would work. Now, how do you like? What's the mechanism that achieve this transaction speed? And I know you
Yeah.
said it. It was tested in testnet. What are the numbers for the mainnet?
So for mainnet numbers, it's too soon to even discuss these numbers. But as I said, so far we didn't even have this many TPS requests to even compare it to what we stressed the chain during the testnet period. It's still too early for Aeron network to be going through such a difficult test period in real world, because our numbers are still, humble compared to what other major networks out there experience during each and every day. So it's impossible to compare us to them in the real world at the moment. In test, however, as I said, in a controlled environment, these numbers were achieved. So the implication is that I believe what is more important is from the user side, from crypto users' perspective, there is absolutely nothing, that would suggest Aeron or a similar technology, some of the fastest chains out there today, or Aeron, is comparable or different. Because think about it. For you, you are simply sending and receiving money from your end, and things happen in a few seconds. If it happens under 1 second, as a user, you will be impressed. Oh, you're going to say, yeah, this is a fast chain. There is no way for you to, basically detect the difference between 0.5 seconds and 0.6 seconds. So in the real world out there, if you're talking about real world terms, yes, this is one of the fastest chains, and not just for end users, but also for developers too. The implications are quite clear. If you want to use a chain that is capable of handling a lot of stress, a lot of work, Aeron is a great choice. If you are, I don't know, doing some kind of AI project, which is quite demanding in terms of CPU power and in terms of transactions per second, right? So this is the chain for you. This is all I can tell, really. And at this point, once you do the math in your head, the next step is obviously discussing or considering how much you're paying to chain A, how much you're paying to chain B, and then how much you're going to pay in Aeron network. So for developers' perspective, this is all they need to check, because everything else is just out there. It's standard technology, EVM compatible, it's quite fast, and it's quite cheap. That's really all you need to know, I would say, from a developer's perspective, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yesterday, the one application that I can think of where such fast transactions would be really useful. So I was at at an airport yesterday, and there was a vending machine in which you would do an online transaction, and then the vending machine would
Mm-hmm.
auto dispense product. I think we have all seen those kinds of machines, but
Yeah,
just after you have made the payment and before the vending machine starts moving towards your product, those two are like that, like small, like 5 to 10 second periods. You are always worried, hey, if it is going to work or not, and sometimes it doesn't. I think if we reduce that to like a second or something, it would give people a bit less anxiety. So I think
yeah,
yeah, that would be a really good use case of such fast transactions. And I think the blockchain should
yeah,
be able to handle the amount of transactions if there are lots of funding. I
yeah,
feel like this, an adoption like this in real world would really make sense. And now,
yeah. I agree. No, yeah.
yeah, now let's talk about Aeron City and Aeron Chain. Sorry, Aeron Chain, right? Sorry, please forgive me for my mispronunciation. Uh, so how does the chain and the city integrate with each other, and what are the benefits for users and developers?
So yeah, as I said, the whole unique selling point of our chain is the proof of area technology. And City, the metaverse, is still under development, but we are envisioning something like a financial hub. For instance, if as a user you have a Web3 identity, and suppose you wish to engage with a traditional finance entity, or if you wish to, engage with a bank, but on your terms, maybe you're actually looking for alternative solutions, alternative finance solutions, right? So we wish to be able to bridge that gap between the traditional finance and decentralized finance of today. Honestly, there are lots of other opportunities to do inside the city, but the financial hub angle is what we are going for initially, because when the city is done, when the app is done, It's going to be a mobile app, and people will be able to move inside the city freely with their avatars, and then they will be able to engage with established entities, at least the representations of these entities, of course. And using area, they will be able to engage with these companies, these firms, to buy, sell, or to procure their services. This brings us an added advantage, I would say, which is, as a user, you will not have to leave this Aeron city to engage with other products. You will be able to directly engage and directly interact with these entities. But DeFi is the first step, obviously. There will be lots of entertainment opportunities. There will be lots of cultural-based solutions inside the city as well.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
So, long story short, I can say city will be a fun and useful place for Aeonites, and the way they engage with it is up to them. And the relationship between the chain and the city is quite obvious. As I said, if you have a certain amount of area coin in your wallet, you will be able to engage with the city itself. You will be holding land, and any type of interaction you do inside the city that requires funding or gas fees, obviously Aeron chain will be used for this purpose.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that answer. Now, you said like all the applications would be in the Arion city. I want to talk more
Yeah,
about the ecosystem, right? Because it's it's kind of easy to build a protocol compared to a blockchain, but when you are building a blockchain, you actually have to build a lot of tooling with it as well. Blockchain explorer, you
yeah,
have to create APIs for that for people to use. You have to provide a lot of tooling for so that devs
yeah,
can build and so that users can use all these products. So I want you to shed a light on what kind of toolings, incentives, and things you provide for developers to build on Aeon chain and for users
yeah,
to
absolutely.
use it more.
Sure, sure, sure. So one of the advantages of having an EVM compatible chain is that most of the protocols and most of the um, approaches to building for a chain is pretty much the same and standard for like every other chain, major chain that we have today. So developers who might be thinking of building on Aeron chain are quite welcome to do so, and they will find easy guides and a lot of support from our community managers. The guides are themselves on our website called docs.aeron.network, and essentially everything is there for you to just have a look and get started on building your idea on Aeron chain. We do have a block explorer, and we also have our own web-based web3 wallet. It's integrated to our scanner tool as well. It's called aeonscan.com if you wish to have a look. um, there is also, like, from time to time we are going to do some hackathons. We have recently finished one. It was for 500k benefits price pool in total, and we ended up with receiving more than 100 applications, in fact. So long story short, we ended up with 12 winners, and most of these projects will soon be deployed on the Aeron chain, and they will start working. So from time to time, we do these hackathon type incentivization projects. There will be grants too. In fact, in the near future, we're planning to start a self-sustained system where developers can come and apply with their ideas. They can say, "This is my idea. This is my project. Here's my roadmap. This is my team. What does everyone think about it? Do you have a grant for me? How can we, cooperate?" So basically, when we have this, application system, it's going to be even much faster for project owners to collaborate with the Aeron network. So this is going to happen very soon, I can say.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that answer. Uh, let's talk about security. So you have mentioned
Yep.
that Aeon is a secure chain, and to be honest, this is my one of my favorite topics to speak because uh, as a user, it's very important for us to know that the project that sorry, the blockchain that we are using or the product that we are using is built somewhere secure. They have
Hmm.
already taken all of the security actions that they need to take by now, and they have security protocols in place which would prevent any future issues. So that's why I really love to ask this question, because this is one of the very important things that I would consider before supporting
Yeah.
a project. So what kind of actions have you already taken to make the chain secure? And what are your, daily, weekly, monthly tasks that you go through to
Yeah.
keep it secure?
So yeah, I'm going to talk about three things regarding this. First one is the good old server, security, right? The main problem with large scale hackings that are happening in Web3 sphere nowadays is largely if someone finds a way to your servers, to your secure servers, and actually infiltrates your systems. For this, we are using all standard encryption systems in place. Plus, on top of this, we have extra layers of security technology. This can be all found in the docs section of our networks page. I'm not going to go into details, but security buffs, people who are interested in this type of thing, can do a deep dive into this documentation section to further understand what kind of encryption models we are using at the moment. But I can safely tell you that it's all being taken care of, which brings me to my second step here, the security of your coding, right? This has been audited by Hacken, one of the biggest names of our industry. They have recently done an audit on our main network, and they gave us a pretty good score. So you can either go check it on our website, or you can check from Hacken's site, where they go into details as to how we are using the best methods for keeping our coding safe. And finally, the third step I would like to share with you is something that is being overlooked by many people in our industry. It's the human error. Basically, most, like maybe 90% of scams and fraud attempts are targeting people who actually don't know much about the Web3 technologies. Because Web3 is decentralized, lots of responsibility lies on your own shoulders. You have to keep your wallet secure. You have to make sure that you're not clicking some random links, etc. So, from our perspective, what we do is we are following this very simple perspective here, very simple method. If an announcement doesn't come from our major channels, basically you should not pay attention to it at all. We always make sure that all communications and all official announcements are done via our Twitter account. So anything that comes outside of these sources, you can easily dismiss as hearsay or fake news. More on that, we have strong communities and community managers. We have over 10 local communities managed by people who speak their language. So we actually make it impossible for you to misunderstand something. Whatever we share in English, we also share it in different languages too. So if you are someone who is from one of these communities, from these countries that do not speak English primarily, then all you have to do is just go to your um, community's channel. It can be a Telegram group, it can be one of our Discord channels, right? And one of the community managers will help you understand and just guide you as to what is the protocol here, right? So you don't misclick something, or so you don't get scammed. So we believe transparency and taking care of your community and giving them instant support is just a great way to combat this. So from our perspective, I believe these three are essential.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have a few community questions as well, and I will go and choose them, and we will actually take two live questions on this basis. Uh, of course, all of them will be rewarded with the giveaway and the token. So please be ready for that, everyone. Now, before I go to the community question, my last question to you is, uh, what's the future roadmap for you guys? What does it look like? Where do you see yourself in, let's say, next 2 years?
Mhm. So this is a tough one because launching the mainnet was actually an important step for us, right? And as soon as we completed that, the next natural step is enlarging your ecosystem, and also making sure that your coin, your native currency, is being used in as many places as you can. So from this point forward, all you have to do is increase your ecosystem with more dApps, more partnerships, more strategic alignments, and doing more integrations with other projects that accept multi-chain solutions, right? So for us, these are the priority at the moment. There will be listings, and there will be our own central exchange called Aeron X, which is going to come very soon. So these are the major items on our list. There will be bridge applications from the inside team. There will be more and more beneficial additions to the ecosystem, a Aeron Games platform, an Aeron Academy platform. So for us, from this point forward, it's all about expanding our reach, reaching out to more people, building more local communities, and reaching out to partnership potentials and people who might be looking for integrations. So I can say these are the major priority roadmap items for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, let's take some community questions. I have three questions over here that I have picked. First is, what are the use cases of Aeron network for a crypto user?
Mhm. Excellent. We have actually recently launched a blog post about this. I would urge anyone who is interested about this to go to our Medium blog. Um, but essentially, if you are an end user, the most common use case for you would be daily transactions, right? As I said, we are trying to minimize the cost of sending and receiving area transactions as low as possible. And this is a deliberate choice because we want this chain to be a convenient, everyday tool for you. We want you to, whenever you have to send money or receive money, we want you to remember that Aeron Network is a solid choice for you. So that is the number one. And number two, we want to enrich our ecosystem as much as possible with apps that will make your lives easier and more fun. We want lots of games, lots of utility tools be able for you, at your demand. So to me, even I consider myself as a crypto user on a daily basis. For me, these are the major use cases. So I want this to be easy, secure, and cheap for someone like me. You know, I'm using crypto, and I want this service to be cheap and fast for my own sake. So I want to give everyone else the same thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, uh, you mentioned Aeron X, right? The next
Mhm.
question, next two questions actually are about that. What does Aeron X mean for the future of Aeron network?
Oh, this is a great question. Aeron X is a central exchange, right? For many projects out there, I believe the major problems include finding themselves a community and raising funds to support their projects. Imagine this: you built an app, now you can tokenize it on some chain, and then the next step is you need to find a place to list it so that people who might be interested in investing your idea can find the grounds to do so, right? Because your project might be great, but if you don't have the right platform for it, it's just going to go unnoticed because there is a lot of buzz in the crypto community. Let's face it, there are scam projects too. So it's very difficult for both the project owners and the exchange owners to trust each other to have the best outcome. Aeron X will probably be one of the best solutions for project owners out there because we will, dedicate our attention, dedicate our expertise to understand what is needed from the project owner side. We're not just going to make this into a clone of thousands of other exchange projects out there who are just asking for money to list your project. This is going to be much more than that. We're going to try to achieve something special here. If we believe in your project as the project team, as the exchange team behind all this, if we believe in your project, your dream, your idea, your feasibility, then we will make it absolutely our mission to make sure that you find a good community among Aeron, and you will get your project listed, and you will be launched with great perks, not just for you, but also for our holders at the moment. So our holders will actually receive tons of benefits when it comes to Aeron X. And likewise, project owners will find a great home for their idea to nurture, to grow. So Aeron X means all this for the future of our network. And once we start onboarding and tokenizing lots and lots of more apps, this will also enrich our community, our ecosystem, and turn Aeron Network into one of the first choices for both users and for developers.
Okay, awesome. Uh, hey everyone, so we are going to pick some live questions over here. Dennis, do you want them to come up on stage and ask you the questions, or do you want them to comment and then go? We pick the questions from there.
Yeah, let's actually just check the comments if you don't mind, so that we can move faster. I know the time is limited.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't want to waste time with connection problems.
Yeah. So I have one more question from the community, and I think you already answered that. But let me ask once again, so you could, you can add more to that. How will new projects be selected for listing on your central exchange, Aeron X?
Okay, so yeah, definitely we talked about it, but the answer is simple: on merit. So if your project is actually good, if it is promising, if you have some utility, if you're solving some real problems, right, then you have a welcome place in Aeron X. Your project will be prioritized, your project will be listed quickly, because we believe that if you have a good idea, it can be combined with our community, it can be combined with our technology, and everyone can benefit from it. So yeah, if you have good ideas, keep an eye on Aeron X.
Awesome. Now I have found a question that I feel is it's something that I missed. So Aeron X, I think in the intro of the question, you talked about uh, enhancing the user experience. Now,
Right.
the question speaks about that as well. So, if the crypto industry is regulated, does Aeron team have plans for compliance with evolving crypto regulation and standards while maintaining a user-friendly experience for its user?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from an exchange perspective, basically, if you want to do this legally, then you have to abide by the regulations, right? So it's not even a question from the Aeron X side, because it's a centralized exchange. So any place that Aeron X operates in, any geo, any country, of course, we will abide by the rules of the the state there. So this is off topic. Now, if you're talking about Aeron X and Aeron Network in general, and the idea, the concept of decentralization, I have to say we would like to see these regulations first. You know why? Because we don't have any problems with regulations at all. We believe that it's going to help clean up this space from all the scam and all the low quality projects, chains that are currently operating, on the surface. We know, we have been through it, that there are tons of projects out there who are actually looking forward to the regulation, because if we don't have some kind of regulation, people are bound to lose their money, and this is a bad stigma on the industry itself. I know lots of people, lots of friends, family members telling me that crypto is not safe, which is something I'm trying to, convince them against, because I'm in the industry. I know what blockchain is capable of. I know what crypto and tokenization means for the future. However, it's impossible to tell them and convince them if there are projects out there scamming people left and right. So from this perspective, for the very user experience angle of this, I believe regulations are useful in principle, but from the decentralized angle, because we believe that decentralization is the future of finance and many other things, we believe that regulations should leave enough space, enough room for this industry to flourish, to grow, to invent new things. So if you just start filling this industry with taxes and unnecessary obstacles, unnecessary hurdles, then you're gonna just kill it. You will be just might as well break it apart. So we believe regulations are unless they're protecting the client, protecting the users, regulations are good, but they should be in a minimum setting, I would say.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, before I go to my last question, Dennis, I would love to thank you for coming on here, spending your time. We are really happy to have you as a partner. We are really proud of Aeron Chain and have them as a partner. So thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing all this information.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. We are so happy also to be in a partnership with you. We're looking forward to being so in for a very long time. And I would like to thank your audience too, because they spend all this time, listening to us. So thank you once again. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's go to the last live question. And this is about community. Do you allow suggestions and feedback from the community? Are we allowed in the decision making process? Do you put community into consideration? Now, yeah, I mean, community is one of the important things, but yeah, please take it ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, as I said, we have different groups with different local communities. The idea behind is that we don't want to miss any feedback, any questions, or anything that might benefit us just because there's language barrier. So that's why we have these over 10 local communities in Telegram. Apologies. But beyond that, we also have a Discord server where you can come and open a support ticket. Essentially, you can just pick the option of feedback there, and we also have feedback channel too. And you can just tell us how you feel about the project in general, or how you feel about the changes that are being done. You can share your wisdom, you can share your insight with us. This is almost always finds the appropriate channel. It goes to the developers, it goes to the marketing team. Someone who is responsible for this absolutely hears your thoughts. You can make sure of that. Now, on top of all this, we have recently launched a panel where you can find all sorts of things about Aeron. There is the staking option, there is the validator, delegator modules. If you're a developer, you can find the testnet faucet. So you name it. There are lots of options there, right? And soon, in the near future, you will also see the DAO option there, which is the decentralized, basically the backbone of decentralization, right? The governance itself. So at some point, people who hold area coin, will be able to influence the decisions of the network, meaning there will be votes and people will be voting based on their voting power. They can influence the outcome. And there might be questions like, should we do this project in this quarter, or it can be questions like, should we, I don't know, onboard or deploy this app? Can be simple stuff like this, or bigger, more existential questions, if you will, can be asked here about which exchanges where should area be listed, or what is the next move in terms of marketing. So even these type of questions will be shared and collectively taken. These decisions will be collectively taken by the community once the governance module becomes active. Since this the mainnet is quite new, there are still things being developed from the development side, the nodes and the validator program, but these are gradually coming. And soon, when the governance module is also in effect, you and everyone else who holds area will be able to influence the outcome and the direction of the network. So definitely your feedbacks are absolutely important for us. And beyond that, you will be impacting the decisions and the future course of Aeron network, guys.
Awesome, Dennis. Thank you so much for joining the spaces. We really loved hearing from you. Uh, Thank you, everyone, for listening in. If you're listening here or if you're listening later on YouTube, thank you so much for joining the spaces and following Swift and Aeron Network. If you have not followed Dennis yet, please go ahead and do that. Dennis, before we close the spaces, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, so thank you everyone for your valuable time spending it with us. It was a pleasure talking here. I would just urge you to have a look at our project, even if this is the first time you're hearing about it. Please have a look. Our website is Aeron.network, and you can also find us on Twitter with the handle Aeron Network. So just come and say hi. If you're speaking a local language, we have most likely have that group. So we're looking forward to seeing you among us. We have tons of stuff coming up, lots of opportunities for newcomers, and lots of opportunities going on our different platforms such as Zili or Galaxy. So yeah, there's always something to do in Aeron Network, whatever your interests may be. So come say hi. I can assure you, you're not going to regret that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We try to do this every week. We'll see you next time. Have a good time. Have a good weekend.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.